What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to 4Strategy Gaming. I've got a best of 3 series here between Sterling and EG's IdrA. Sterling starting out with the LOL. I open 2 racks a lot. Don't all in often though. I'm going to go ahead and assume that there's a conversation taking place before this game, and in which IdrA said that he 2 racks all-ins every game or something like that. I really have no idea, nor do I care. I don't like drama in real life, especially don't like drama in video games. For the love of God, guys, we are playing StarCraft. So we can see right now, this is again a best of 3 series here. Game number 1, IdrA spawning up in the upper right position, and in the upper left we have Sterling here, the Terran player. IdrA, of course, the green Zerg player, and we are on Shakur's Plateau. I cannot get over, guys. Come on, just put the handkerchief away, stop all the crying, and let's play some video games. Seriously. For serious. I mean, you know, these guys making money playing video games. I'm making money talking about video games. This is unreal. There's no reason for us to ever be upset about anything considering our situation. So anyways, yes, we can see right now Sterling coming down to his expo and is actually going to be starting off with a fast expansion. Or some early aggression. Well, it'll be some early aggression with a fast expansion, very likely. Whether it's going to be a 1 racks or 2 racks expand, I don't really know, but I'm going to assume he's going to open up with 2 racks, and we'll see how IdrA manages to handle that, given all that garbage they were talking back and forth. Oh man, yeah, there we go. There we go. So we can see right now IdrA coming out with that quick expansion. He actually opted for that 15 hatch. He's going to be following that up with either extractor or a pool first. Let's take a look as to which one he decides. It looks like it will be pool first, though. He's saving up quite a bit. So going to be going hatch into pool and then setting that extractor after it. IdrA with the question mark when told that he was getting BM'd. Obviously, IdrA knows that he is known for his bad manners and a terrible attitude. He's an amazing player. He just has got a really bad attitude. But if that's how he wants to live his life, by all means, go right ahead. It is your stress. You know, stress kills you. Did you guys know that? You literally, if you get stressed out, it's bad for your body. You can gain weight. All sorts of things can happen. It'll certainly shorten your lifespan. So something to think about before you cry. So we get to right now. Sterling coming out with his Marine, and it looks like he's into a bit of damage to IdrA's drone. Don't think, oh, he got it. Just in the nick of time. IdrA was just a moment away from being able to escape there. And here comes the bunker laying down right now. So Sterling with the crazy early aggression. Now he is just on the 1 racks right now. So this will be a 1 racks into expansion with this early aggression again. And look at that SCV sneaking right on through. Now IdrA's going to be getting us around, doing as much damage as possible. Looks like he will force Sterling to cancel that. We still have that Marine coming though. He's going to go ahead and move forward with this. Try to see what damage he can do. We've got a couple of drones moving down. And he's going to do a little bit of damage to them, but wants to prevent that surround. So he's heading on back. Big thing to realize, though, is all this time that IdrA's chasing down those Marines, he's also not mining, so that's why he actually went ahead and turned back around right now. IdrA setting his Overlord here to the high ground to get some vision if we do have any additional Marine pushes here. We got a couple more racks being placed down right now. I'm going to be seeing a total of 3 here for that front wall off. There's that expansion as expected. Also coming out with a refinery right now. The refinery's a little early. There's that second refinery as well, so it looks like he's going to be teching up relatively hard, if nothing else, trying to get some really fast upgrades to try to compensate for his delay in tech from that early aggression fast expand. So we have that pool up. Obviously, the extractor is almost finished right now for IdrA. He does have a spine crawler for some frontal defense against that possibility of any more additional Marine aggression. Sterling just about to finish his 2 additional racks. Really interested to see what he makes use of with this gas here that he's pulling out of these 2 refineries up in the main. He does have this. It does have this expansion just about finished. Actually coming out with another racks as well. So very, very interesting indeed. Now sitting on 4 racks, 3 of which are for that frontal wall off. I saw he was about to drop a tech lab, but actually opted not to and landed it just to come out with some additional Marines. IdrA spreading out his lings right here. He's just setting himself up front to see when and if Sterling decides to push out. It is very popular for a Terran player after that initial aggression of just a few Marines to mass up a decent handful of Marines. I want to say about 10 to 15, and then push out with a big force and a few SCVs as well. So IdrA is quite possibly just scouting out for that right now and hoping to be able to spot that if it does come through ahead of time so that he may be able to respond. Back over inside of the main base here for IdrA. We have that metabolic boost coming on through. He's grabbing another extractor and one over there at his natural expansion as well. We do have an Overlord getting ready to move in for a sacrificial scout there. IdrA moving in that position as well. Here's the refinery as expected. We do also have a tech lab here coming up on this racks. No attachments placed down on the frontal wall. He doesn't want to risk losing them, especially if he's actually coming down with any research. So there we go. Overlord scout moving in that one direction. The one that was over here is getting shoot away by Marine. IdrA's going to be scouting out the tech lab as as well as that factory, though, and he's going to see the exact number of Marines that Sterling's sitting on right now. Going to give him a good idea of what to expect. Going to be seeing a little hot swap right now, and actually Sterling dropping the factory right on that tech lab. Also going to be building a starport right after. A little bit of mismanagement there, and let's see what he's going to go into. Looks like it's going to be straight into tanks right now. He's got that siege mode coming on through as well. IdrA notably still just on the 2 bases. He is coming out with the Baneling's Nest. He's got another extractor as well. He's going to need that heavy Vespian just to afford all of those Banelings that he will be coming out with. But it does appear like IdrA is going to be going for some sort of bust or trying to do a bit of damage, given the fact that he has yet to move into his 3rd expansion and he's still sitting on just those 2 bases. Back over here, scouting out the front right now, and Sterling actually can't do anything about it. But so IdrA can see exactly, again, the Marine count. He can see there's no attachment. There we go, lifting it up. Going to be moving down and actually killing all 4 of the Zerglings. So IdrA losing all 4 Zerglings, unfortunately. Take a quick look at the unit loss tab. Although it's not the biggest of things right now, especially so early in the game, it does appear, at least momentarily, that Sterling is in the lead. Here we go, Overlord moving back in, even though he did take some damage from a Marine earlier. He's moving back in to see what he can see. And let's see if he actually manages to scout out that starport. Not sure if he's going to make it there unless he pushes straight on through. We got those Marines actually hunkering back right now. And let's see if IdrA manages to scout it out. No, he does not. And we actually have a 3rd coming up for Sterling. That is a bold, bold move indeed. Coming out with a 3rd, especially given the fact that IdrA is still just on those 2 bases. This bust, once it comes through, is going to hurt quite a bit. We also have a Spire coming out. Not sure where that's being placed. There it is. Spire situated right over here. So Speedling, Baneling, Muta just on the 2. Finally, though, moving into his 3 bases. Now, sticking on those 2 for a while gave him ample defenses just in case Sterling had moved out with that push. Around between 9 and 10 minutes, he could have tried to plan some sort of timing push, and IdrA would have been prepared with the Banelings and Speedlings that he would have had to deal with that. We also got another in-base hatch coming over here for IdrA. I got to keep in mind, given the fact that he's actually not doing that. Oh my gosh, look at this. Gonna have a drop coming over here for Sterling. He's setting up the siege line. We'll be picking up his Marines. His Marines don't have any upgrades. They're actually nowhere near that position right now. There's no tech lab on any of these racks, but still, what he's doing here, massive amounts of damage. He's gonna be laying in the front. This is a little bit scary right now for IdrA. IdrA can push up against that, but those double tanks right now, until he gets some mutas in play, he's gonna have a hard time dealing with that. If he pushes forward with those Speedlings and Banelings, we're just gonna see those Marines get picked up, and there we go, picking them up right away, and look at all that splash damage on those Zerglings. But again, we've got a few mutas, and they're getting ready to pop. They should be out in just one moment, and at that point, IdrA should have pretty much no problem dealing with this, and should actually be able to mop this up without issue. So there we go, push forward again, and walking into that siege fire, losing a bunch of Zerglings as well as a few Banelings there. Here come the mutas, though. Gonna be able to mop everything up right now. He's got enough mutas to be able to take care of these Marines, and then he might try to chase down that medevac. Not sure if he's actually gonna get it in time, and actually he's not going to even bother, realizing he's a bit too far behind right now. We'll be rallying up with the rest of his mutas. Do want to start to see some harass here from IdrA. That would certainly be very beneficial for him. So far, he is actually quite a bit behind right now. That little push there with those 2 tanks and that small group of Marines did enough damage to set him up quite a bit behind. So we do need to see IdrA counteract with some damages of his own to try to get back in the game. We've got tons of upgrades coming out right now for Sterling, working his way on up. Very nice turret placement there and there. Plus these Marines spotting the edge of the base, realizing that those mutas would be coming out after scouting them from his drop. Sterling moving on down. He's actually going to be changing the position of his wall, trying to get a little semblance of a wall in this direction. I don't expect him to fully complete it, given the sheer size of this, but he just wants to try to defend this 3rd that he's coming out with. Again, this is very dangerous position right now for Sterling, and actually IdrA fully aware of it right now, scouting it out with those mutas, going to get a few free Marine kills. We now just finally have Stim Pack coming through. We're going to have some Thors coming into play as well. Mutas trying to do a little bit of damage to that command center and then push back. They do want to be careful walking into those Marines, though, but knowing they don't have Stim Pack, IdrA's just going to tear right through them and no problem. Look at that. Without Stim, those Marines do get shredded pretty quickly by those mutants. We've got some tanks very vulnerable right now, and this is exactly why Sterling was very bold in coming out with that expansion, because it's quite dangerous spreading himself so thin right there. He just lost quite a bit. We can take a look right there, and actually IdrA pretty much evening things up there with that counterattack. Very nice by him indeed. Take a look at what IdrA has got going on, working on a decent saturation over here at this 3rd. He does have, again, some upgrades coming on through. It looks like, yes, we do. Where is the Evo Chamber? I'm actually not certain where it is. There we go. We have the Evo Chamber coming out there with that melee upgrade for his ground units. He's going to continue up this muta production. Also got the Flyer level 1 upgrades coming on through for his mutas. Try to add to their ability to move in, snipe something down, and then move right on out. We've got a ton more racks coming out for Sterling, so he will certainly be sitting very Marine heavy. Looks like Sterling getting ready to push out. If nothing else, just moving across across the middle, trying to get vision with that tower from his Marine there. And he's actually pulling on back right now, at least for the time being. He's got a couple medevacs loaded up. He will be dropping. It looks like he's going to be splitting up those two medevacs, so dropping in two different positions. We'll be trying to drop up here. That's not going to go so well, though, and probably going to be trying for a drop right over here or around here. I'm not sure if he actually knows about this fourth that's coming up for IdrA, but there we go. The Mutas, without issue, taking care of that medevac, and IdrA sitting on a very nice death cloud right now. He's got quite a few mutalists in play, sitting on 20, in fact. Gonna have no problem dropping these buildings very, very quickly. Look at how quickly he takes out all those SCVs as well. We still do have this medevac over here. At the same time, we got a push coming across the middle. This is not a very strong push, though. He actually lacks in Marine numbers, which is something that he definitely needs. And as a result, we're actually seeing him push back right now. Speedling's going to be trying to take advantage of this, as well as those Mutas moving on in. Sterling, very vulnerable right now. Speedling's going to be trying to get us around. Mutas will be magic boxing over that Thor, and the Speedlings helping take out the Thor, trap some of those tanks. And oh my gosh, this is devastating. Sterling taking a lot of damage right now. Banelings and all of those SCVs. That was devastating. We do have a Marine drop coming down over here. They do have Stim Pack as well, but that was very devastating for Sterling. He took some very, very heavy losses. Mutas will be forced to push back right now, and actually he's going to be losing quite a few of those overall, but definitely IdrA doing a ton of damage right there. You can see how far behind right now Sterling is, and this Marine drop has been taken care of here from IdrA's Mutas Corruptor there, working on that medevac as well, and there you go. That worked out very nicely for IdrA, engaging Sterling's forces as he was trying to retreat back home. Really, in all honesty, Sterling should have just set up shop. That's exactly why you need to be careful about unsieging your tanks and pulling back, because that very thing can happen. He lost pretty much his entire force and is just now trying to rebuild that. IdrA sitting on quite a bit right now. We'll take a look at the army supply. We can see IdrA is certainly ahead right now in terms of units that he's sitting on. We have a Zergling sitting at that tower right now. Hopefully we see another one go down right over there. IdrA still does have this expansion coming on through right now, and he's also going to be trying to get up his fifth at the same time. Mutas be getting ready to move back into Sterling's main, trying to do some additional damage. We got a couple Speedlings situated over here. Sterling looks like he's going to be pushing down to those towers, trying to take control of those, but at the same time, here we go, IdrA moving up into the main of Sterling. See how much damage he can do right now. He's got an opportunity to take out quite a few SCVs, and there we go. Going to get a few free SCV kills. And again, sitting on a very strong number of Mutas, going to be starting to try to target fire some of these down. Wants to get rid of the armory. That's going to prevent any additional upgrades, but also it's going to prevent any more production of Thors. So that is very nice indeed. Couple of Speedlings, and this is actually be enough to do a little bit of damage over here to Sterling's expansion. And taking out that NG Bay, might be taking out this one as well. A couple Stim Marines moving forward. IdrA sticking in, though, and making that engineering bay burn. And let's see if Sterling actually gets a repair on that, or if that ends up dropping. Oh boy, why is he not repairing that? He really needs to repair that. There's no reason to lose that unnecessarily, and there we go. The SCV is going to repair that a little bit and then move on down to drop that armory. Lots and lots of Speedlings right now moving across the map for IdrA, and that's actually going to be used likely to push on into this expansion, see what he can do for damage at the same time. Here we go with the Mutas in the main again. We'll be working down those depots, trying to get Sterling in a supply block. Zerglings still sitting over here, haven't actually engaged yet, and again, IdrA, going to be getting rid of these upgrade buildings, and here go the Zerglings right into that expansion. Now a little bit of Zerglings running into this main force of Sterling. They're actually going to have to pull back right now. Mutas in the main of Sterling, going to be doing a bit of damage. All these Speedlings should be taken care of. They're going to sacrifice their life and try to do as much damage as possible. They actually managed to kill off quite a few Marines over there. Mutas continuing to go to town, and you know, right now IdrA's not dealing with anything in any of his bases, no drops or any kind of harasses going on, and he's just doing tremendous amounts of damage. Take a look again at the unit loss tab. Sterling very, very far behind. Now here comes the big push. Sterling will be trying to even things up right now. He's moving away across the map, and I am not certain if he's going to be able to do much damage at all. We have to see. If he gets caught out of position right now, it could be in a very bad spot. We've got a ton of Speedlings and Banelings over here. Muta's working up in those numbers as well, and here we go. Going to be trying to overwhelm Sterling right now. All the Marines in the back right now. Those tanks getting swamped up very quickly. Here go those Banelings trying to roll right up into those Marines. All the tanks are gone. So all IdrA needs to do right now is get a few more Speedlings and Banelings, and he's going to have no problem dealing with these Marines since there's no tank support, and actually comfortable engaging with the amount of Mutas that he has, plus a few Speedlings. And let's see how much damage he can do, mopping up the rest of those Marines, and IdrA in a very dominant position right now. He's just absolutely devastated Sterling, and look at that, couple of Banelings chilling out over here, forcing Sterling to lift off that expansion. IdrA just in a fantastic spot. He's absolutely destroyed Sterling so far this game. Just the past few engagements, besides those large engagements, IdrA just walking up into the expansion as well as his main. This Death Cloud of Mutas has really been the bane of Sterling so far this game, and again, getting caught out of position and just some really bad positioning in the middle of the map has caused Sterling to lose bulks of his forces. We do have a large amount of Marines pushing on down. Looks like we do have a few Speedlings situated over here. Sterling going to keep up this push. We do have, right now have IdrA trying to engage at. He's moving down with his Mutas from the top side as well. Going to sandwich those Marines. At the same time, some Speedlings in the expansion over here. Sterling's got no mining going on right now. And IdrA has mopped up everything that he has. And there you go. Sterling calling something like a GG. Taste of your own. Alright guys, pretty interesting game number 1, I would have to say. Sterling opened up the game with some 1-racks Marine aggression into expand. Unfortunately though, IdrA responding properly made it so the Sterling really wasn't able to do any damage whatsoever. Sterling then worked his way up into a Marine tank drop, moving out with a few Marines, 2 siege tanks, and medevac. He was able to set up shop right outside of IdrA's base, shell out on the extractor, and do a little bit of damage with his Marines, even though they were unupgraded. However, as soon as IdrA managed to get the Mutas out in play, he was able to mop this up and send Sterling back home. Sterling then tried to move into his third, which proved to be a mistake as he was spread way too thin to deal with IdrA's Muta harass. We see IdrA taking care of all the Marines, and then he actually also gets a few free tank kills. And this is exactly the problem when expanding too quickly against Mutas. When you spread too thin, it's very hard to defend against this type of harass. Sterling pushed out across the middle, but then decided against it. IdrA, spotting this, took full advantage and was able to mop up Sterling's forces as he was heading back across the map with those Speedlings and Banelings. And that's the huge danger in unsieging against Speedling, Baneling, Muta. Working his way up to a Death Cloud's worth of Mutas, IdrA was able to move on into Sterling's base and do quite a bit of damage, which Sterling had a hard time responding to. Sterling attempted another push, which IdrA was able to overwhelm again, and it was really after this point in the game, which IdrA had it. He had done way too much damage, and Sterling was way too far behind and really stood no chance. Alright guys, that was game number 1 here in this best of 3 series between Sterling and IdrA. We're going to be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe. Keep watching and keep owning.